Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Karan Kakkad, founder Reverse Factor, where we help people reverse lifestyle disease with the help of right food. We have been speaking till now on a lot of lifestyle diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, asthma, joint pains, and thyroid, cholesterol levels. But today we are going to speak about the most current subject which is being talked about, which is coronavirus, right? And is there any way that we can detect coronavirus in advance or as soon as we can? Now, yes, definitely there is only one way in which we can detect coronavirus much in advance so that we can do something about it and recover very fast. But before getting into that, let us understand that coronavirus is indeed a pandemic which is impacting so many lives in the world. We have so many Indian patients who stay in UK, and when I talk to them, the situation out there is very, very bad. 800, 850 people dying every single day. And when I hear their stories, what is happening in UK and other parts of Europe, I really thank our Prime Minister Narendra Modi for bringing this lockdown, as quickly as he could. Just imagine, still in UK, this is just a couple of weeks back when I was speaking to a lot of patients there. Still, couple of weeks back when there were so many deaths happening in UK, still there were people out in the road. There was not a strict compulsive lockdown as it was enforced in India. So I think this is what one thing as a country we have done great is getting into this lockdown as early as we can, because that is something which can save lives, right? However, today we are going to speak about something which is again very, very important. Every family should listen to this, and every family should have this solution with them, because it is very, very simple. It all comes with awareness and right knowledge. One thing which I really did not like about this entire coronavirus episode is the amount of stress that people are taking. When we continuously live in hormones of stress, fear, anxiety, we just invite more disease, right? Rather than living in continuously hormones of stress, fear, anxiety, we should always live with right knowledge and right awareness. Today, the information that I'm going to share with you has come first handed from those doctors who are seeing coronavirus patients, right? I've been very fortunate in that sense to speak to many, many doctors in India and in UK and US who have been handling patients who has coronavirus, right? And there are good learnings that they're coming out with that, and I'm going to share with you one key learning. And if we understand this, each and every one of us can detect COVID very, very early, right? And we need not be rushed to hospital. We need not be put on ventilators. But we need to understand this very, very carefully. So I'm going to explain this as slow as I can. In case you don't understand, you watch this 2 times, 3 times. But get this straight, that we can detect COVID much in advance, and there is something we can do at home. Now, we all know that immunity is important. Immunity is the best self-defense in terms of fighting infections. Now, we are doing a lot of things in terms of building immunity, right food, right lifestyle, everything. But there is one thing extra that you can do apart from building your immunity on a day-to-day basis that can really help you detect COVID much in advance. And that one thing is known as pulse oximeter. I request all of you to listen this very, very carefully. What is a pulse oximeter and how can it help us detect COVID much in advance? Now let's understand something. Coronavirus is an infection that affects the lungs and the entire respiratory tract. All right. Now it is like a pneumonia, but a special kind of a pneumonia, a COVID. Let's call it a COVID pneumonia. Now, what happens when anybody gets a pneumonia? So there are three things that happens. Number one is they start feeling a problem in breathing, right? So they have shortness of breath, they have problems in breathing. Number two, their oxygen level goes down. And number three, their chest x-ray will show that they have pneumonia, an infection pneumonia. So these three happens when anybody has pneumonia. So what is a pneumonia? Pneumonia is an infection of the lungs, where in the air sacs of the lungs, there is a buildup of fluid. There's a buildup of fluid or a pus. All right. So pneumonia is an infection of the lungs where there is a buildup of fluid or pus in the air sacs of the lungs. Now, and when anybody gets pneumonia, three things happen. Oxygen level goes down, they have shortness of breath, and number three, a chest x-ray will show that they have pneumonia. However, when anybody has COVID, all right, COVID pneumonia, now the uniqueness about COVID, which again the first-hand doctors have shared, and now this is scientifically noted also in the papers, is that when anybody has a COVID pneumonia, right? So COVID is an infection which attacks that part of the lungs which make a compound known as surfactant, surfactant. So surfactant is a compound in the lungs which helps the air sacs open up between breaths. So when you breathe 2 times, 3 times, between each breath your air sacs open up. Now that compound that helps to open up those air sacs is called surfactant. Now COVID attacks those part of the lung cells which make surfactant. So when that is damaged, oxygen level goes down. Here is the catch. Oxygen level will go down if you are affected by COVID pneumonia, which is COVID pneumonia, but the COVID does not affect that part of the lungs which help in sending out carbon dioxide. Now, since there is no fluid buildup, or there is no pus or any fluid buildup in the lungs, your lungs can easily exhale out carbon dioxide and there is no buildup of carbon dioxide. And since there is no buildup of carbon dioxide, you have no problem in breathing. Alright, so when anybody has COVID pneumonia, oxygen level goes down, like in the case of pneumonia. The X-ray might show that they have an infection, COVID pneumonia, but the third thing, which is not common with the normal pneumonia, is they will not have shortness of breath. They will be comfortable in breathing, which if any normal person, any other person would have a normal pneumonia and not a COVID pneumonia, they will start having shortness of breath. And that is a starking difference that the doctors face when any patient comes with a COVID pneumonia, which means that their oxygen level is dropping, but they're not facing any problem, right? Now, let's understand the normal oxygen saturation. The normal oxygen saturation in a normal human being is between 94 to 100%. But when people has pneumonia, it starts going below 85-80% oxygen saturation level. And when it goes below 80-85%, they start feeling shortness of breath. But what doctors are seeing in COVID pneumonia patients is that their oxygen level is going as low as 50%, 45%. Still, they're completely okay. They're breathing as if they have no pneumonia symptoms, which is a starking difference. And when they start feeling the problem of breath, then their oxygen level is drastically low, and therefore most people with COVID patients who rush to hospital have to be put in under ventilators because they need oxygen. But that oxygen level has not come down from 9400 to straight to 50. It took 1 week, 10 days. But they were never facing the problem of shortness of breath till the time the oxygen level went down drastically, right? So what can we do? We can have a small a device known as pulse oximeter. Now, pulse oximeter is like a thermometer. All right, a pulse oximeter I have ordered just 20 days back. A pulse oximeter is like a thermometer which every family should have it now. All you need to do is just place it on your finger, and within seconds it will give you the level of oxygen it is there in your body. Now, even if now I have spoken to many of my existing patients in last 15-20 days who have some kind of a viral fever. Now, they got better after 4-5 days, but during those times they were always checking their oxygen levels, right? They have fever, but they were never afraid that they might have COVID because their oxygen levels were always high, were always good. So you need to keep checking your oxygen levels every alternate days, and the moment you feel dropping, all right, below 90, 85, 80, you know something is not okay. Do not wait for it to fall more. Rush to the hospital where precautions will be taken and you will be made fine. You may not have to get into a ventilator, maybe a little bit oxygen, curing that infection which is inside, maybe COVID, may not be COVID. Now you might know many people who have pneumonia, right? But all those people have shortness of breath with levels of oxygen falling. But COVID patients will not have shortness of breath until the oxygen falls drastically. So one thing, and there are many cases reported in UK and US that people who were using oximeter, they rushed to the hospital when they observed that the oxygen levels were started going down, which means that there's something which is wrong, right? Now people might feel uneasiness in the throat, might feel light fever, but if the oxygen levels are good, he or she may not have COVID, right? Would not have COVID. But compared to that, if somebody else who has uneasiness in the throat and also has a little fever, if his oxygen levels are falling, which means that he has COVID pneumonia, very, very high chances of having COVID pneumonia. Now, if we understand this, and if we, it's not even costly. It's 900. I got it for 1100 or something. So it's between 900 to 1200 different models of pulse oximeter. It is like a thermometer. And all I want each and every family to do is keep checking at least alternate days, once in 2-3 days. Keep checking your oxygen levels. Once you observe that your oxygen levels is going down, all you understand is that you have a very high risk that you might have COVID, and you can do something about it rather than waiting for your oxygen saturation level to go below 50, 45, and then rushing to hospital and creating another panic scenarios, right? So as we have discussed always, right awareness and right education is the first step to reverse disease, right? So I want each and every one of you to understand this very, very well. Hear this 2 times, 3 times if you have not understand, but do apply this. Get an pulse oximeter and keep checking every 2-3 days. It is just like a thermometer, and every family should have it in this time. And do keep sharing this with as many people as you can, because every family need to understand this, and every family should be aware of this right information. Thank you so much once again, everyone. Take care. God bless you, and stay empowered and stay